my friends, and welcome back to Vancouver Actors Podcast Ep.3. I'm your host, Michael Coleman. Today, we have with me the young man who is going to steal all of my work in the very near future, Mr. Maryk Horn. I hate him already. Just a terrible guy. Yeah. He's a great guy. He's a fantastic actor already. Don't believe what you've heard about him.
Thank you for having me, Michael.
You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. So thanks for being here. Maryk made the trek all the way here to Vancouver from the sunny skies of Saskatchewan. Saskatoon?
Yes.
Yeah, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. It's a lot of Sask in where he's from. And so Maryk has kindly volunteered to read some of the questions from our listeners. I have not seen these yet, so there's a really good chance I got no idea what the answer is going to be. I hope that's not the case. And then Maryk, you feel free to ask some of your own. So these are some of the frequently asked questions that new actors may have. You're always welcome to submit them to the podcast. So we really want this to be an opportunity to diversify and strengthen and build community. So if there's any questions you have with regards to agents or headshots or how does this work or how can I get more information on this, how can I better my relationship with my agency here, and he's a better Michael Coleman than Michael Coleman. We're going to go through a couple of your questions here today, and then again, if you subscribe to the channel or if you email our producer Lydia Rimmer, so that's L-Y, why? Because we love her, LYDIA RIMMER at storyinstitute.ca. Lydia would be more than happy to take your requests with regards to perhaps some different types of guests you might want to have on. Perhaps you'd like us to bring in different actors or directors or casting directors or monkeys. Sure, yeah. We'll see. But let us know, and we'd be happy to do that. Again, our mission or our goal here is to just diversify and strengthen the community. So, we're going to start with some of the questions you guys submitted over the last week based on our first two podcast episodes, and I look forward to hearing them, and we'll do our best to hopefully provide some guidance and some light. I know when I first started out, one of my biggest concerns in acting wasn't that I didn't know all the right answers. I didn't know any of the right questions, and that made it really difficult. So hopefully we give you guys a chance to take some big steps forward today. You're always welcome to email us. Lydia and I are on standby waiting to be of service. So on that note, Maryk, I've been awfully chatty off the bat. You wanna tell us a really quick little bit about yourself? Like, why do you want to be an actor?
Very good question, Michael. See, when I was a little boy,
as opposed to the man he is now. We were just discussing he's not old enough to drink alcohol, but tell me more about when you were a little boy. It's so long ago that it's still happening.
Very much.
But go ahead, my senior friend. What would you like to tell us about the golden days of your childhood?
I'm still gonna.
Here's the thing. If you're going to get on set, don't drop your sides. Look at the kid, brand new. As you can see, I'm not nervous about losing work yet. But no. Maryk, go ahead.
Can I talk now?
Oh, I hope so, because otherwise the whole movie is just me and it's Castaway. It's a monologue and we'll replace you with a volleyball.
Yeah, I'll play.
Okay, go ahead, Maryk.
Okay, hello. My name is Maryk Horn. Like he said, I'm from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Please don't hold that against me if that's a bad thing for you.
It's a great thing. Saskatoon's a beautiful place. Beautiful place.
There's
super flat.
There's sun.
Oh yeah, lots of sun. And you can see it because it's super flat.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
No mountains or trees get in the way because
and that's it. That's the only special thing about it. But yes, I am from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, like I said before. And what made me want to become an actor is a very good question.
You want to be rich and famous? Is that it?
Be rich and famous.
Yeah, yes, that's why everyone wants to be an actor. Yeah. No, he doesn't. He's smarter than that.
No. I don't know. I just, of course, I was doing drama classes in high school, and I found that I really enjoyed it, and I was also doing it outside of school. And yeah, it was lots of fun, and I realized it was something that I was very passionate about. And being an actor was more of a dream for me because like it's Saskatchewan, like there's no film schools or anything there like there is here. So being an actor was more of like just a dream, like just an idea, until like I actually started like going and looking for schools and finding that it really was possible that I could actually move to Vancouver. And so yeah, but
isn't it weird? Can I ask you a question? I find it really weird. Like I was the same when I was in high school. Like in my 12th grade, a long time ago, I had 7 courses and an elective. That's how many we took, 7 classes at a time. Mm-hmm. One of the classes was English 12, and then I had 6 classes dedicated to film and television. So when I graduated, like I clearly made the decision that I loved what I was doing early, and I was like, this is my favorite thing in the world. So you know what I did when I graduated? What? My favorite thing in the world. So I've never understood people like, I meet lots of people, it's like, what kind of classes did you take in high school? I just took all drama classes all the way through. And now what do? I'm a veterinarian.
Yeah.
Which is okay, because veterinarians are amazing. Like I have a great veterinarian, but like I would have imagined, well, you probably would have been in biology class or.
Oh no, I was not that smart.
No, but I mean, like veterinarians, not you. I know you're not smart. I've met you. Exactly. Like you're talking to me like I don't know you. No, I'm kidding. He's brilliant. He's a very smart kid. Don't let the Saskatoon thing fool you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I just always find it interesting that people. You know, they spend their whole high school life loving a thing. It's their favorite thing. What's your favorite part of the day? Lunch. What's your second favorite part of the day? Drama. What are you going to do when you graduate? Not eat or go into acting. They're like, it's crazy. Yeah. Anyways, that was just, just an interesting little side note.
Question you had?
I didn't have a question. I was informing you. It was a statement.
It was a question in the form of a statement.
Yeah. It's not always about you, Maryk.
Oh,
so you've got some questions from our listeners. Let's hit us hard and let's see what you got, and let's see what you do. Let's see. He's clearly not off book, which is okay. Professional actors usually off book by now. I'm kidding. We gave this to him like 8 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But he is gonna share these with you, and I still haven't seen these. True story. So let's see what you got.
All right. How old are you? That's not a question.
I just turned
25.
Handsome teen. No, wow. It was my birthday like 3 days ago.
Oh yeah, I got you a present.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. They wouldn't know that. How would they know that? They're not spying on us. It was my birthday 3 days ago. But anyhow,
let's go to the actual.
Let's go to the actual questions.
So I don't know who said this, so hopefully whoever asked us is listening.
You don't need disclaimers. You can just ask questions. Nobody's gonna blame you. You just ask a question. Yeah. You don't read Shakespeare and like, hey, I didn't say this. This is William Shakespeare. Yeah. So if you got a problem with it, that's between you and Bill. You don't qualify Shakespeare. You just read the words.
Okay.
All right. What do you got?
Michael, how do younger actors with less experience gain confidence for an audition?
For an audition? That's actually a really good question. I would say, you know what I would say? I would say one of the things that a lot of actors that I meet, especially in the early stages, the questions are always, how do I get a great agent? How do I get great auditions? Mm-hmm. How do I go out for the roles I want to go out for? All these things. And the answer is, it's a funny answer, because you don't go for any of those things. If you try to get a good agent, or if you try to get good audition, you're going after the wrong thing. The thing you need to go after is you have to go after being a good actor. See, if you go after being a good actor and you become go after being a great actor. Don't settle for good. Go after being a great actor. If you're a great actor and you're consistent, then great agents want to represent you. Great roles want you to read them. Great opportunities want to happen, but you have to seek the right thing. So I'm going to sidebar for a second here. As we break into Act 3 from our Act 2 of almost every feature film you've ever seen, the hero has to abandon what they want for what they need, and only when they realize that can they actually achieve their goal. And storytelling is a reflection of real life. That's the thing in real life as well. You have to abandon what you want for what you need. I know you want a great agent. I know you want great auditions. I know you want to be on a TV show, but what you need to do is learn how to serve the story. Learn the academic process of breaking down a scene and a story beat by beat. Learn the science, learn the math, learn how to find what's not on the page, learn how to find the fun or the games in a scene. And once you do all that, then learn how to organically translate that into your body with personalizations and assertions and things like the essence exercise. There's so many ways to make it real for you so that you can behave truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And once you get to the point where you can truly assess your own work, only then will the confidence come. And even then, I'll say, you don't want too much confidence. The fear is a good thing. The difference between fear and excitement is so subtle. And what you want to do is just transition the fear into excitement. But I would think it would be incredibly dangerous to become confident. I would be, maybe confidence an okay word, but I'd never be comfortable. I think you always want a little bit of that fear and excitement built into it. So my advice is truly learn how to serve the story. Get to a point where you don't need casting director's feedback. You don't need an agent's feedback. I'm not saying you don't take it or you don't want it, but you don't need it because you've learned how to serve the story so well, you know what you did. Any actor that's had a great performance will always say, I don't know, man, it's like I just blanked out and I feel like I'm just waking up. And I get what they mean by that. It's a cool thing and everybody says that. I've said it. But the reality is you got to get to a point where you understand story so well that you're not looking for other people's validation. And it takes time and it takes work. And it's going to cost you something to learn this. If it doesn't cost you something, it has no value. So ask yourself, what is the value you want on your auditions? What is the value you want in your careers? How's that for a long-winded answer?
Yeah, only 10 more to go.
Yeah, there you go. Serve the story. Learn how to serve the story, learn how to self-assess, and get yourself in a situation where you are learning the craft from the people who are doing it at the level you want to be doing it at. That's sort of the secret of all success. All right, what else you got? That's a pretty good answer.
C+.
I've got him speechless, which is hard to do to the young boy from Saskatchewan. What do you got for questions here?
This one I actually vaguely talked about in the beginning. What can I do if there isn't an acting school in my city?
Oh, it's a great question. Yeah. So, Maryk, what would you do?
Jeez.
Remember, you literally just did it.
I did. Yeah. Holy. I just forgot about that.
I wish we could play the Jeopardy music right now.
Yeah.
So what would you do if you wanted to work professionally and there weren't those work opportunities in your city?
Well, what I did is I started researching where there actually were acting schools.
Yeah.
And just, I guess, closest to, or wherever it may be. But yeah, do your research and start asking around and everything. And that's what I did. There's probably a million things you could do. But
can I give you a hint?
Yeah.
Can I, for an answer?
I said teach you.
It rhymes with move to Vancouver.
Move to Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what you might want to do is move to a location where the work happens. So there's a lot of work that happens in Vancouver, a lot of work that happens in Toronto, Los Angeles and New York, of course, Atlanta, Louisiana. There's a lot of different places that geographically have it make sense. Also, make sure you move to a place where you're legally allowed to work. So I think, all of us, myself included, we all want to play in the highest level we can. I've spent some time in Los Angeles myself doing some auditioning and working and things like that, but make sure you can legally work there when you're going to do it. So the answer is you may want the work to come to you, but sometimes you have to go to the work. Or I don't know how you would do it because I've never seen it happen. I guess theoretically speaking, you could create an industry where you are. I know a few actors. We got a couple of guys that are from Winnipeg that have had some success here, and now they're creating studios and schools in Winnipeg to go back to their hometown and make it possible. So I guess that is possible. But the more traditional route would be to train and to pursue the craft in a city that already does this. What else you got?
Do you have to have a post-secondary education?
No, you don't have to have anything. They let children do it. If your child wanted to be a doctor, they couldn't just miss school to go cut people open. But the film industry,
that's a different career.
Yes, but the film industry is one of the few industries where we say, children, come on in. It's there's lots of room. So, but again, I would say just learn how to do it professionally. Like you get the choice to either pursue something like it's your career or like it's your hobby. And if you think about any other industry, if it's your career, like if you want to help people that are sick or injured, you could take a couple lifeguarding courses on the weekend and you could be a lifeguard. But if you want to be a doctor, you got to go to med school and you learn how to do medicine. And it's the same thing with acting. I think that it's never, no industry is easy, but I think this is easier than a lot of people think it is. I think a lot of people who try to do the best with what they've got get the results that they should expect. Most of us who, I've been doing this industry for 30 years. I still train. I own an acting school and I still train. So I'm always floored when somebody who's brand new feels like they've already got all the skills they need, because I'm like, I'm literally, if you count my amateur stuff, I'm almost 40 years in this industry and I still am seeking ways to get better. So you don't need a post-secondary. You don't need anything. What you need to do is learn how to serve the story. And what I would personally advise, this is what I did. I went to post-secondary school. I did. I went to a theater school because that's what existed when I graduated high school. And then I didn't necessarily align with what my teachers were teaching. And the focus was primarily on the stage, which I loved the stage, but I also wanted to work on camera and do a bunch of other things. So I left my program early and I started learning from people that were already working successfully in film and television. And I credit that with the reason that I got to do it. I simply went and found people that had habits that allowed them to work consistently, and I learned how to develop and put those habits into my own body. So the answer is no, you don't need a post-secondary education, but there are a lot of great post-secondary opportunities, many in Vancouver that you can go check out. And I would say you'll find that a lot of the actors that I own one of these post-secondaries, and I'm proud of, I've coached actors that have gone on to be leads on The 100, Riverdale, or series regulars on like Letterkenny, Handmaid's Tale, My Little Pony. Like, I feel really proud of the kind of opportunities that I've been able to share with different students. And but I'm not the only teacher in town that gets to boast that. My own teacher was a gentleman by the name of Andrew McElroy, who I've a world of respect for. And Andrew's coached many actors in this town. Some of my old scene partners that I had when I was in Andrew's class went on to become major movie stars in LA. Sorry to disappoint you, Andrew. I'm still trying. So there's lots of great opportunities. My advice, though, is don't do the best with what you got unless you're prepared to just live with what those results are going to be. If you want to serve story at the highest level, you got to learn it at the highest level, and that's when you're going to get the opportunity to audition at the highest level. All right, what else you got for me, Maryk?
All right, it's kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
What are signs of a good agent? Let's start with that, and then on the flip side, what are the signs of a bad agent?
I think we're really lucky. I think we got a lot of great agents here in Vancouver. I would say I'm going to keep this one really simple. I think it's really important to understand, there's a lot of debate who works for who. Do you work for your agent? Does your agent work for you? I've always seen it as a business partner. It's a collaboration. And what you want to do is, not unlike every healthy relationship, whether it's a romantic one or a sibling or a best friend or whatever it is, find somebody that you respect and that respects you. Good relationships are kind of like if you see their face when the phone rings and you're like, hey, I love it when this person calls. Do you have that with your agent? Does that agent have it with you? Do you have aligned goals? Do you both see yourself going in the same direction? Do you both see your career in the same way? It's a really important relationship. There's a lot of trust that goes both ways. So on one hand, when you sign with an agent, they are being a representation and a reflection of you. At the same time, when an agent signs you, you're a reflection of them and what they want to be associated with. So it's a really, really important relationship. I would say follow all the guidelines you would for any healthy relationship. Always find ways to make it stronger. come from a place of authenticity and trust, integrity. Always ask yourself, what can I be doing to make this relationship stronger? Have the courage to find a new relationship if it's not working out, and I guarantee your agent will do the same. So that's sort of what I would say with regards to agents. I think we're really lucky. I think we have a lot of really smart, caring individuals in this town that have chosen to be an agent. I would never do it. I think it's a crazy career choice. I often reflect, an agent is guaranteed no money. They wake up in the morning and they think about their roster for 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. Their phone is always on. They are guaranteed nothing. They might spend a year or two thinking about you every day for, again, 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. You might make them nothing. And then when you do book something, you take 85% of the money and all the credit. I think it's crazy. And I'm insanely grateful for the people who do it. I think it's such an amazingly cool thing that people would do that with their lives. Like, they help make our dreams come true. And I think it's a really noble profession. I think it's cool. I think we're really lucky in Vancouver. We have some really, really great people. What else you got for me?
Okay. This one has a few typos in it, so I'll do my best.
Oh my goodness, look at this. Now he's an editor. He hasn't even booked a gig, he's editing the work.
I can't work like this. All right. So,
holy cow, yeah.
Are you glad you invited me on this podcast?
Oh my gosh. Now I gotta call my agent and say, get me on a different show. Kidding.
Still
okay, go ahead.
Okay, so what is the protocol when you get work yourself without your agent's help? Do you still have to pay them, I think the agent, and if not, is it a strategic move to pay them to keep in their good book?
See, again, it's an interesting question. So, once you start working professionally, if you're doing a traditional career, you actually don't go look for work. If you're learning how to serve the story, the neat thing is your agent will get you the auditions, they'll negotiate your contract, and you don't have to do that part. Your focus becomes entirely on how do I get better as an actor, and every time I book something, how do I make sure I create the kind of brand and memory or experience where everybody wants to have me back. If you book something from a previous agent and you move to a new agent, it's usually common protocol to leave your bookings with the original agent, and any continuing revenue would go to the previous agent. And theoretically, if you did that with anything you book on your own. There's also a theory, however, that again, if you're in a healthy relationship, if everybody's on Team Maryk, then there is an argument that, hey, when Team Maryk wins, make sure everybody on Team Maryk gets paid. So it's going to be your choice, and it's going to be something that comes up for you. I feel incredibly lucky with who I have for representation, both for convention appearances and film, television, and voiceover. I love my agents. They're really cool business partners whom I trust, love, respect. I think they ooze authenticity and integrity, and I'm really grateful to have them on my team and to be on their team. So yeah, I'll always be looking to find ways to make sure everybody on Team Coleman feels like when Team Coleman wins, Team Coleman gets paid.
You should start a relationship advice podcast.
I should. No, that's terrible. I'm an old married man. All right, what else you got?
Next question. How and when do you know when to make the move to another agent, and what would the switchover look like?
Yeah, I would say, again, it's just like, how would you know when to stop dating somebody and date somebody else? How would you know when to stop being friends with somebody and be friends with somebody else? If you find the relationship isn't working out, if you're not creating mutually beneficial opportunities for one another, or if it's gone cold and neither side or one side doesn't want to evolve the relationship, then it's time to respectfully go to the person and say, hey, is this something we can work on, or should we consider different options and avenues? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think, again, my advice is just be respectful, create constant communication, and just try to create a healthy atmosphere.
Yes, very much. Next question. What are the protocols to follow when a few low cast member or crew has behaved inappropriately while on set?
Well, we have different protocols, and you can contact your union for that. and you can also address it with one of the ADs, or there's a lot of different things on set that if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're uncomfortable, or maybe it's not safe, my advice would always be to, my advice would be to first let production know. I'd probably let my union know. I might contact my agent and just keep them in the loop. And, fortunately we're in a situation where, and we keep gearing more and more towards greater things in our industry to create happier, healthier environments. So, my advice is just let somebody know. Don't shrug it off. And if it's not okay, it's not okay. And make sure you move forward with that.
Amazing. What are some tips to help one better communicate with a director?
Great. Again, I'm going to go back to serve the story. It's really interesting. Directors often come into our industry from one of two ways. They come in from a technical standpoint, or they are actors who are now directors. So particularly with actors technical people who become directors, often they learn a lot about what lens to use, the lighting and all this stuff, but they don't learn the same language we do in terms of serve the story. So some of it'll be common, but not all of it'll be the same. So this is why I really advise people, always try to be one of the smarter people in the room. Understand that every scene has conflict. Every scene has an emotional shift. Every character in every scene that's ever been told has a goal. What do they want or need from their scene partner? What do they want them to do, feel, or understand? Expand your vocabulary in terms of transitive verbs for the tactics you're going to use to navigate the obstacles, and understand the importance of personalizations and relationships and environment. Like, there's so many different things you can do. I had a really cool experience once with a director named Christopher Columbus. He did the first two Harry Potters amongst and a bunch of other amazing things. One of my favorite things is I had a chance to audition for him once, and you get the standard question of, Michael, do you have any questions? And I said, Chris, I have one. I just don't know if my character is brand new at the job or if I've been doing this for 10 years. And he said, oh, that's fascinating. I haven't even thought it. Why would that matter? I said, well, if this is the way the dialogue reads, is if this is my first time doing it, I think I'm going to do it with a little bit of a sense of awe, hesitation. I'm not going to know really where my grounds are. If this is something that I feel like I've been doing for 10 years and my concerns have fallen on deaf ears, I'll likely play it differently. But it was a really nice moment where he was like, that's a great idea. Can we play it both ways? Because I didn't really think about it, and either way could really factor into the story and really change the way this scene plays. Now, again, I'm not trying to suggest that was a life-changing moment for Mr. Columbus, but what it did do is it illustrated I understand story enough that I can understand history of relationship or history of character, and other elements of the scene can drastically affect other elements of the story, and it created a really unique opportunity. And I've had a bunch of those, and I know other actors have had the same that have had some success, and I encourage all actors to find those moments to understand story well enough that when somebody says, do you have any questions, your answer doesn't always have to be no. And I'm just gonna do my best and hope that I guess what you're looking for, because that rarely works. Often we want to know that you'd know what this character would say or do, even if we didn't give you the words. And the only way you can do that is if you understand story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember reading that Christopher Columbus story in your book.
Yeah. Look at that, plug on my book for me. What a nice guy. Look at that, unscripted plug. We have an audition guidebook here available.
You're welcome.
Email Lydia Rimmer at storyinstitute.ca.
How should you spell it?
L-Y, why? Because we love her. D-I-A-R-I-M-M-E-R at storyinstitute.ca. Lydia Rimmer, producer of Vancouver Actors Podcast. Lovely, lovely person. You got any other questions for me there, Maryk?
No, I'm absolutely perfect. Now there are questions for that I wrote myself.
Amazing! So. It's like working with Colin Mockery over here. Yeah, just the improv is insane. Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going there, Ryan Stiles. What do you got?
So what are the what are some red flags or the do nots for an audition that
I said there's only 4 things, so it's really hard to say. A lot of people ask that. One of my favorite things whenever I've witnessed a casting director workshop is, what do casting directors like? That's like saying, what do people with red hair like to eat for dinner? It's pretty hard, man, because everybody's going to have their own subjective, different ideas about how to do their creative process. The 4 things that I think you owe every casting director is you need to be prepared, you need to be on time, you need to be professional, and you need to be capable of direction. If you can do those 4 things, nothing else matters. All the other rules go out the window. If you do those 4 things, I guarantee nobody's going to worry about what clothes you wore, what props you used, how you did this, how you did that. Come in, be prepared, be on time, be professional, and be prepared to take direction. All right, what else you got for me, buddy?
This one is kind of towards like the people who are just starting out, maybe in like high school and stuff. And for people in high school, they mostly like go on stage and do theater.
Yeah.
So some people might want to know what's like the main differences between being on stage doing plays and being on camera.
Sure. I mean, there's lots of technical aspects. Like with stage, we have the fourth wall and all these sort of like we perform in a certain thing, and the audience all sits out here, and it's a bit more of a 360 environment with film and television. And there might be just some different things with our size of our performance in terms of playing to the back of the room. Is actors need to always behave truthfully under imaginary circumstances, and that never changes. So whether you're doing theater, voiceover, film, television, all of that is the same. Just make sure that you learn how to serve the craft properly and serve the story.
All right. And someone helped me with this question. I was asking around if they wanted to ask if they had questions from
There's lots of precursors, like nothing but excuses from this guy. This guy, every question he's got is like, hey, I wouldn't ask this, so if it's terrible, it's not my fault.
I know everything.
No, it's great. It's already not his fault. So let's just hear his guilt-free question.
Is it even possible?
No. Nobody works in film. No. Nobody works in television. It was almost a $4 billion industry last year in the middle of a global pandemic. We are sitting here in December 2020, and we did more work after we had the global pandemic than prior to the global pandemic. This is an industry that keeps on chugging along. This is something that when people are sad and scared, like when everybody in last March, what did we do? We all sat in our homes and we binge watched Netflix and YouTube, and we watched movies and TV shows. When the world's great, we also love to escape into that world and reflect on how amazing the world is. The entertainment industry is one of the oldest industries in the world. It's got lots of beautiful, wonderful people that want to be a reflection of our society. And is it possible? Yeah, I would say, I've been doing this about 30 years now. Most of my friends, if you say, what do they do for a living? They do this. They write, they act, they direct, they do all these sorts of things. So this whole thing about, those actors who really focus on what's their plan B, don't be surprised when your focus is your plan B that you're living your plan B. So don't do that. But also be smart about it. Whether you're a newer actor or a seasoned actor, most of us have multiple revenue streams. Even the biggest names in the business have multiple revenue streams. So find a situation where it's not embarrassing to do different things. Just try to have all your revenue streams be reflected in the kind of stuff you do. I work in voiceover, I work on camera, I have a chance to write for film, television, and animation. I run the school, I have a production company, I get to go to fan conventions for some of the different shows I've done. Even there, like all of those different things, even if one thing slows down, other things pop up. But I've had the other day jobs, and slowly I've replaced each day job with different other revenue streams, and it's allowed me now to own a house, a car, and spend time with my family on vacations that we spend with that impossible acting money that apparently never happens. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't get in this to be a billionaire. It happens, but I wouldn't do it for that reason. I'd get in because you love it, and then be smart enough and good enough that people have to pay you to do it. And then run your business like a business. If your business stinks and you're not running your business properly, don't be surprised that your business is failing. You, as professional actors, own your own business. You're in charge of research and development. You're in charge of marketing. You're in charge of operations. You're in charge of finance. You're in charge of motivating the team. You're in charge of all of it. So if you find that your business isn't working, there's a good chance it's because the people on your team aren't doing what they need to do. And unfortunately, you're most of the people on your team. So learn how to run your business like a business. You got any last questions for me?
And remember, I didn't ask this. I didn't. This isn't my question.
All right, we can edit stuff out. So I mean, we're not gonna edit this out. We're gonna whatever he asks, we said we'd answer, even if it's not his fault.
Yep. So when you are starting out acting and training, starting school and stuff, can you balance it through your life, or do you have to give it 100% of your time?
You need to balance it through your life. Here's the thing. As professional actors, when you go to acting school, you should be learning how to recreate the human experience. That's what we do as actors. Everything we do in our stories is replicating the human experience authentically, organically, truthfully. If you are so busy being an actor that you never live a real life, then I'll never believe it when you try to recreate real life. So I'm a big fan. I have a lot of friends that are actors and writers and directors and all these other things, but I also have a lot of friends who are electricians and dentists, and I have a friend who just massages horses. Like, I have so many different friends that do so many different things, and each and every one of those experiences gives me a different connection to my humanity, their humanity, and the entire human experience. So I know when I graduated high school, it was really important that we just did theater school, 16 hours a day. You learn how to starve. Excuse me, we wore a lot of black. But we don't do that anymore. Like, learn how to be a human being so that you can replicate it authentically.
Yeah.
Is that all your questions?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Maryk Horn, our guest on the 3rd episode of the Vancouver Actors Podcast. When he stars in his own TV show someday, or when he says, I can't wait to play this back, and he's going to feel so dorky when he plays this back. It's gonna be so cool. Yeah. Play it at your wedding. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Play it at your
Absolutely.
wedding. So lots of fun. Great questions. Thank you. Keep them coming. We will try to get through as many as we can each episode. But we want to thank you for listening or watching, however you are streaming this podcast today. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, Vancouver.
Bye.